What is up, my nerd familia, and welcome to Games y Más, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of board games, video games, and a little bit of pop culture. I'm your host, Vic, and I would like to be the first to welcome you here to our little corner of nerdom. Whether you are a diehard anime fan, a manga reader, a film buff, to a casual, intermediate, cozy board gamer, to an aspiring esports star in the video game world, or to everything in between, this podcast is for you. We would love to engage with you guys, share some stories within the nerd familia, so come join us. If anything that we've said resonates with you, hey, join our wacky adventures here at Games y Más. We would love to have you here. So, with all that being said, pull up a chair, grab some dice, y acompáñame a jugar. And my nerd familia and Operation Game Night podcast crew, we are back. We are back for some more Resident Evil. A little different change of scenery for Travis here. You're in the process of moving.
That's right.
So it's all right. Moving or not, we still got to chug along with this Resident Evil. Zombies ain't going to stop us from talking about this universe that we love. We love so much here. This episode is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode because we're kind of just going to mesh Operation Raccoon City and the Umbrella Chronicles. Not two big games. They're kind of just side stories, not canonical, I guess you could say, but they kind of recap over the events of Resident Evil 0 all the way to 3. And so I think it'd be great to talk about it while we're diving into where we just finished talking about Resident Evil 3. So it's a great little companion, kind of dive more into the lore, even though if it's not canon, but I think it's cool to talk about. And so I'm very excited. We're going to talk a little bit about this here. Again, not a super long episode. Right now we're chugging along through Outbreak. Travis and I are going through Outbreak Files 1 and 2. So I'm very excited to talk about that one because that one's my all-time favorite of the series. I love playing Outbreak 1 and 2. I'm enjoying it. So I can't wait to talk about that. But for now, we'll take a little detour, take a little sidestep here, and join us as we talk about Umbrella Chronicles and Operation Raccoon City. Is this your first time joining us? I just want to say welcome in here to our collab here. We're collabing with Operation Game Night Podcast and Games y Más. We're talking Resident Evil here. We've done Resident Evil 0 all the way to 3, given our experiences, and it's been a blast. I've been enjoying it, having fun. A lot of engagement, especially from our last episode, our episode 3. I mean, we've had a clip that's been popping off when we're talking about the DeLorean, which is pretty fun. I don't know why that one popped off, but it just did, and I thought it was fun.
All the car nerds out there decided to jump in and tell me I was wrong, and that it's actually some variant of an old Honda. But I'm gonna live to believe that it was a DeLorean.
It is. People are actually arguing that you're right, that it is a DeLorean. People are like posting like photos of it and stuff. I'm just like,
yes.
I'm over here like I'm just here for the hangs. I'm just hanging out. I don't know. I'm just here for the Resident Evil. So we became a car episode now instead of a zombie episode. We're just now a car show.
Zombie car talk.
Zombie car talk. Let's talk some zombie cars. So guys, thank you so much for watching again. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, again, welcome. If you're a returning nerd familia enthusiast or our Operation Game Night crew member, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us here. Love doing these Resident Evil talks. It's so much fun. And let's dive deep into here some Resident Evil. Well, not deep, but let's just give our thoughts for this one. And then we'll be on our merry way. It's kind of like a filler episode, guys, before we get into the more main storylines. And so, let's talk some Umbrella Chronicles and Operation Raccoon City. I want to start off with talking Umbrella Chronicles. Travis, if you want to give us if there's like any history with this one, any the making of, or it's just like it's a game they created. Curious to hear that. So let's dive into Umbrella Chronicles, and then we'll go from there for sure.
Yeah. So Umbrella Chronicles released November 2007. And it was specifically released for the Wii because they wanted to make use of the Zapper technology and the nunchuck support.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil, as we talked about in 2 and 3, kind of found their footing with Nintendo on the N64 and the GameCube. They released RE4 on the GameCube, another port of 2 onto the GameCube. And so they want to continue with this and onboard those new people that are buying Wii's, which is like the hottest new system out there with the coolest new technology. Oh my God, you can use this little laser pointer basically to aim. So cool. So they want to make use of that. Released in November 2007, developed by Capcom and Kavia, and produced by Masachika Kawada. Okay. I am probably butchering that name, but he worked on the RE2 or the RE4 port to the PS2. So
Oh,
he's got his footing in the RE universe a little bit.
okay.
He's worked on previous projects, and originally this game started as kind of a RE4 style co-op game
Oh,
before they transitioned it to an on-rails shooter. And
okay.
you can watch footage of this, but it looks basically like a time crisis set in the RE universe.
Yeah.
And what it does is it recaps a lot of the story beats from RE 0, 1, and 3 while
Hmm.
adding a little bit of new content
Hmm.
around Umbrella's final collapse in Russia in 2003.
Yep.
And so they're filling in the gaps a little bit about Umbrella. You get to play as Wesker for a little bit, which is kind of cool. I think this is
Yeah.
the only RE where you get to play as Wesker for a bit.
Yep.
So Kavia joined Capcom on this development,
Okay.
and they were a Japanese studio known for collaborative and outsourced projects across a couple of different Capcom games in the mid 2000s. So they have a relationship with Capcom. They want to jump in and get this going for the Umbrella Chronicles.
Okay.
And so there's not a whole lot to say. It shipped 1 million copies off the bat worldwide. It didn't do gangbusters like the
Yeah.
RE2s and the RE3s,
Yeah.
but it used a new technology. It's a kind of a divergent story from the ones that they've been telling,
Yeah.
and divergent gameplay to match. So, kind of an interesting thing. There's not a whole lot to say about it besides
Yeah.
they took a swing and they decided to go on rails shooter for this one,
Yeah.
and that's what kind of sets this one apart, makes it a
Yeah.
little different, a little hard to play nowadays,
Yeah.
especially because the Wii is kind of a outdated technology,
Yeah.
but still cool. Even if you just go watch a gameplay footage of it, it looks
Yeah.
very much like Time Crisis.
Hmm.
Zombies popping up from behind benches and stuff.
Yep.
You're reloading off screen, that type of stuff.
Yep.
So, have you played this one before? Did you play it on the Wii?
I've never played this game. I had it on my emulator, and I tried playing
Okay.
on the emulator, and I was like, "This is impossible to play on an
Oh, it's bad.
emulator." It's like
It's
so,
bad.
like I was like trying to move it. I was like, "Yeah, it was bad." I was like, "You know what? I'm done with this." And then I have the PS3 emulator because I think it also came out for the PlayStation 3. I tried it again, and it was just I was like, I'm just watching a video on this one. I'm
Good
not
stuff.
gonna. It was
Good stuff.
I couldn't get past Resident Evil Zero the train part. Like I
Yeah.
got up to the Scorpion boss fight, and then I couldn't it got too hard. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna watch a
It is,
video.
and that's like what first half hour of the game. Like you
Yeah,
go through the train. Rebecca
Billy.
and Billy are chirping at each other. It starts with Billy like hanging from the roof of the train and like
Yeah,
kicking a zombie in the face, which is
yeah,
great. Kind of
yeah,
a streamlined onboarding to those characters, and then it
yeah.
just takes off from there. You play through all of the same kind of footprint of the train. You've got
Hmm.
the dogs diving through the windows like they did on the train in RE
Yeah,
Zero.
yeah.
So pretty cool to see that kind of footprint again. You revisit similar scenes,
Mhm.
similar layouts, similar locations from a lot of the previous games that are
Yeah,
captured in Umbrella Chronicles. So
yeah,
I think it's cool. It's hard to play nowadays. I would love to get my
yeah,
copy on a Wii version of this
yeah.
because I do have my Wii floating around here somewhere. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
was gonna ask, do you have a Wii?
difficult to play.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because like I think if I remember correctly, like Resident Evil Dead Aim or Resident Evil Survivor, one of those ones, were also like off the rail shooter games.
Yeah, I think
Um,
Survivor is.
Survivor, one of the, I might you guys might leave a comment below, let us know. But yeah, so it was interesting how they had that before, didn't make it, it wasn't so hot, and then now they came with Umbrella Chronicles again, off the rail shooter. You said Time Crisis, bro. That game was my jam back in the arcade games, bro. Oh, I
Oh,
love
so good.
Time Crisis was oh man, it was just so good. I love playing Time Crisis, and I felt cool
And
holding
the
the
light
gun.
gun shooters are making a comeback. There's a company that did a Kickstarter for a legit light gun that you can hook up to your PC or your TV, and it comes with
Really?
Time Crisis installed on it.
No
And there's
way.
ways to like upload other games. So I'm sure that somebody out there has found a way to play Umbrella Chronicles in the year
On
of our Lord
yeah,
2026. So if you're interested, I need to find the actual like light gun itself, but
yeah,
it's pretty cool technology. It has like kickback
dude.
and everything. It's
Yeah,
got buttons on the side that you can like control and do all that stuff if you prefer.
yeah,
But it works just the same as it would a cabinet. You can play Time Crisis in your
dude.
living room right now. So
Send me those
pretty
links
cool.
after this,
Yeah.
bro. Send me those links because I need to get my hands on one of those, bro. If I could play Time Crisis like here in my apartment, bro, like this, my life is complete. Like that's just
They're pretty expensive. I looked into them and I'm like, man, can I really justify buying this
yeah,
like
dang.
at
I,
this price tag? I can't
you know,
remember exactly how much it
oh
is,
man,
but they're pretty cool
like yeah.
technology, and it's cool that it's making a comeback.
Yeah, definitely. Light gun or like some board games. Oh man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
A tough one to come up with. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of briefing of Umbrella Chronicles. Again, I'm gonna recap. I'm not gonna go full play by play of this game because it's just mostly just recapping 0 to 3. Like you said in the beginning, like you said earlier, right now. Yeah, Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles starts off with Resident Evil 0. Kind of gives you the interview, the intro of Billy and Rebecca. I'm glad we got Rebecca back again. Her voice is like pitchier now. It's like obviously they use different voice actors, but like her voice is
Yeah.
like much way higher pitched. And I was like, oh, like okay, sure. Yeah, you have the mechanics of the game. You're going through the train. Some of the boss fights are boss fights now. They have health bars. You gotta like use tactics and guns and different types of ammo and stuff. So it was interesting seeing that. It's funny seeing like throughout the whole game, it's just like Wesker narrating
Yeah.
the whole game. It's like little did they know that Rebecca and Billy were entering a chaos. It's just funny, just like him narrating. So I was like, okay, interesting. So yeah, so we begin with 0. You go through the whole game, not every single aspects, but you're kind of walking through the whole set pieces of the train, the training facility. You go through everything. You verse the bosses that you normally would verse, and then yeah, you have your final confrontation. You verse the Leech Queen, and then after that, then we have our introduction with Wesker. Now you play as Wesker, which I was like, all right, cool, Wesker. And now what I didn't like was like you're going as Wesker, but then like you're going backwards now. So now it's like you start from the end of 0 and you go all the way back to the beginning of the facility. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, so like you're repeating the same level again, but just going backwards. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess. But story wise, like you have to escape. The facility's gonna blow up, so Wesker's like has to escape. So yeah, you have to retrace back your steps with Billy and Rebecca. So you do that. At the end of that section, you meet a superior. This is the first introduction, I think, of Sergey or whatever, and he has like a
Yeah.
tyrant with him. So you meet like a superior of Umbrella, and he's like, "I'm here to make sure you don't mess up, Wesker," or whatever, something like that. So I was like, "Oh, okay, so we got a new character here. Interesting." So yeah, that happens. You verse like one of his bodyguards as like a test, like oh whatever, and then like you escape, and he's like, "Okay, you did good. We'll meet again." And I was just like, "Sure, right, okay, whatever."
Because the Russians have to be the bad guys.
Yeah, they
Always.
guess. Yeah, they always got to be that guys, I guess. So they always Umbrella hired the spared no expense with their crew members, and so we have that going, and then we go and jump into Resident Evil 1. Now we're back into Resident Evil 1. We're Jill and Chris. Back to Jill and Chris. Which I will say, I want to recap a little bit what I said in our previous episode with the whole Resident Evil 3 Jill and the remake on how they redesigned her. I do like the redesign. I don't know why, but I like the redesign of Jill when like Resident Evil 1, the remake, and then Resident Evil 5, her design. I like her redesign better than Resident Evil 3's newer remake design. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish they would kind of kept a little bit more true to that because I'm more used to that version of Jill. So they kept that same remodel for Umbrella Chronicles. So you have that remodel from Resident Evil 1 remake, and more familiar with Resident Evil 5. We're Jill and Chris. What I like about this one is that you're Jill and Chris together. So you're going into the
Yeah.
whole mansion. So you're like partnering up, which is really cool. You don't split off. You go through the mansion. It's more of Resident Evil 1's remake of the mansion. So it's not like the original mansion. So you have all that. You meet the Crimson Heads. The Crimson Heads are back, and they're running towards you at the screen. They're still frightening, even on this like off the rail shooter. It's like more lighthearted. It's still like frightening them just running at you. I'm just like, oh, if I was playing that, I'd be like, stop it.
That and the hunters. The hunters are like
The
weirdly
hunters.
short compared to all the other enemies, and like you're
Yeah,
aiming down at them, and
yeah.
there's like these little gremlins that are running at you.
They're just like running. Yeah, it's like I was like, there's some frightening enemies in this one. I'd be creeped out. And I'm like, if I was playing this on arcade, I'd probably be like, I don't want to play this. So we have the events of 1. We go through 1. Same thing, nothing new here. We're kind of rinse and repeat everything, going through the mansion. I don't know if you verse Lisa. I think you verse Lisa in this one. I think you see
Yeah.
Lisa.
Yeah, you do.
There is a cool segment in this one where you have like a flashback of Rebecca and what's his name? I wrote down his name. Yeah, Richard. Where he's like bit by like the snake, but you see before how you have Rebecca and Richard. I thought that was cool because I'm like, all right, you get to see Rebecca in this mansion. You got to play with her, and so it was pretty cool having that moment. And then we see that when we get to the part where Wesker supposedly dies because of the tyrant kills him, we see how Wesker survives in this one. I don't know if it explains it in any of the future Resident Evil games, because I think in 5 just Wesker's there again. You're like, oh
Yeah, it's just like the anime thing. Like, I'm not dead. I'm still
yeah,
here.
I'm back again. Somehow Palpatine has returned.
That's
Uh,
right.
and so, but in this one, you see that he takes the virus, he takes the T virus, and he becomes all powerful. There's a funny moment in well, first of all, you meet the Red Queen. They introduced the Red Queen here, which I'm like, oh, I know the Red Queen from the movies. So I was like, all right, cool. So that was a cool little add on. I mean, again, how much does it play part in these games? I don't know. Again, I'm literally like trying to enter these series fresh, and so my knowledge goes past Outbreak. After that, it becomes a blur, except with 4 and 5. So we have the Red Queen. Now there's a funny moment after you do everything with Jill and Chris. You do all this stuff. They escape. Now we're back to Wesker. Now Wesker has to go through the mansion again because now he's retracing his steps back from the mansion all the way to the intro. So we're retracing our steps. It's funny because now Wesker has his like new power. And he's all like, time to test out this new power. And like he like kicks a bug. He like kicks like this like one of those like little bugs. He kicks it and it blows up or it goes flying. And he's like, "What amazing power!" And I was like, that was your test just by kicking a bug."
That's right.
Okay, sure.
Over 1,000.
Yeah, it's over 1,000. That kick is something amazing here. And so yeah, he kicks a bug and yeah, he whatever. And you go through the city, you go back through the mansion, you go through everything, you verse some bosses here and there, and then yeah, it ends. That arc ends, and Wesker's again narrating how Jill and Chris made it out alive, but little they know that their nightmare's barely starting. Blah blah blah. All that. Okay, cool narration. And then we get to Resident Evil. We actually get to Resident Evil 3. I don't think this covers Resident Evil 2. Because I think this gives that because that's its own little thing. I mean, Wesker wasn't part of that, so why would he? And it wasn't in 3 either, but I don't know why he's narrating 3. But anyway, we have 3, and this is the remake. This is like our little remake before we get the remake of Resident Evil 3. It starts off with Jill running through the streets. And she's in her Resident Evil 3 garb. They didn't decide to change it up. They just went straight. We're gonna keep going like this. We have Carlos, and then now we have the events of Resident Evil 3, which is cool. We get to see some off the rail stuff with the Tyrant, and so yeah, we go through that. We go through our Raccoon City Police Department with them, which is pretty cool. So you kind of see a little bit of throwback of Resident Evil 2, but with Jill and Carlos going through that. And then, yeah, we have the events of Resident Evil 3, and then it ends in February. It ends, pretty much, the events of Resident Evil 3. They do a strike on Raccoon City, and it blows up. Again, nothing new if you've been following along our series. We covered this in Resident Evil 3, how everything blows up. Raccoon City is no more. Over 10,000, 100,000 people died. And what I do like, what they reference this, talked about this a little bit in this one was, after that, you have like this text explaining the events and how like Umbrella like is being held responsible for this, but like over the course of time, Umbrella works its dealings with the government and stuff, and how it simply just starts to fade away and trickle away. How the government just kind of covers it up now and just says, "Oh, it wasn't Umbrella, it was just some nature thing." So you see how Umbrella was kind of being sneaky about it. And it was like, oh yeah, nothing. They paid off whoever paid off senators, governors, whoever they had to pay off to just say, hey, it wasn't us, And so Umbrella covered their tracks here. And soon the whispers of Umbrella causing this became a faint, distant memory, and people forgot about it. And we're just like, all right.
It's not the Russians that are the enemy. It's big corporations, always.
Yep. It was, yeah, they blamed it on the Russians, which brings us to now, it brings up to February 2003. We have Jill and Chris again, and this is a completely new now. We have a completely new, different level, new canon, new story of them going to Russia to find this base. They track down Umbrella to this base, and now we have Chris and Jill making their way through this facility. Again, we're fighting creatures. We're fighting everything now. We're fighting Crimson Heads, Hunters, Lickers. We're fighting everything. They just threw everybody in this last couple of levels. So I was like, all right, cool. So you have all of those. You're fighting all these creatures, and then you finally get to the final boss, which is it's like this new tyrant, this new version of a tyrant, which looks really weird because it has like this big, huge gun little thing.
Very strange.
Very strange way of versing a tyrant. But I was like, okay, I guess at this point, Capcom was like, let's go all out. Let's just make whatever we can.
Let's jump the shark. Let's do it.
Let's just do it. Yeah, exactly. So they did all that, and you verse this tyrant thing. Jill and Chris make it out, and they leave, and they're like, we just took down Umbrella. They're all proud of it, and they're leaving. Cool. whatever. That's the end of Chris and Jill for now. Now we go. Now we go back to Wesker. Wesker's in this facility, and he's like, "I'm here to make sure, did Umbrella know that I'm here to take them down too, whatever." And so you have Wesker's storyline where he's like, "I'm trying to take down Umbrella. This is my own power, whatever." We're dealing with Sergei now. Sergei's like, "Oh, Wesker, you're still alive. Okay, we're here to kill you, whatever." So you go through again. This watching the gameplay of this, I'm like, yo, they don't care. They just threw everything at Wesker. They're just like enemies upon enemies upon enemies. I'm like, dude, how are you supposed to beat this mission? Like you're blasting that. I was like, I don't know. Even the videos that I was watching, like they died a couple of times. They had to like pause and edit it and go back. I was like, all right. So we verse all these enemies, and then we finally get to the end where you verse the two tyrants that are guarding Sergei, I believe. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. These weird tyrants, whatever. So you're versing these tyrants. It's a double enemy boss battles. You have to again watching this video. I'm like, dude, this is way too hard. Like, I don't know how they got away with this game. Like, it was, I don't know how I would have beaten this game. I would have gotten so frustrated. I was just like, screw this. I don't want. Put on the cheats. Put on the God mode cheats. So they're giving me the infinite ammo. I'm just gonna go with the storyline.
Part of me wonders if they're trying to emphasize co-op play because the Wii is like notorious for couch co-op games.
Oh, for sure.
And so that they're trying to lean in on that a little bit. And if you do split screen co-op, then it becomes easier. You got more bullets down range. I don't know. Maybe.
But then I'll be like, okay, if you're doing co-op, like how would I work with Wesker? Because Wesker's by himself. So it's like,
you just put two reticles on the screen. I have no clue.
He has two guns. He's using two guns. One of them used the left arm. So I'm like, all right, cool, sure. So we have Wesker's story. Now, after you beat the bosses, you have this funny little ending, which I thought was hilarious, where you see Chris and Jill taking off on the helicopter, and like Wesker's behind him, and he sees them departing, and like he shoots this crane hook, and it comes down, and he picks it up, and he like goes flying, and then he lands on top of like a scaffolding. He's just standing there like an anime character, like, "Oh, Chris and Jill, you thought this is over, or whatever." And I was just like, oh, that was pretty cool, actually. I kind of like that.
Action hero, Wesker.
Wesker, man. He just like nonchalant, just shoots his hook, comes flying towards him. He picks it up, and with the momentum, he goes flying up and lands on the thing. And he's like, this shot of him like on top, and he's like, oh, like this menacing evil guy, and you're like, you won't see the last of me, whatever he says. And so I was like, all right, cool, way to end it on a banger. Wesker, we're just standing there like, we're gonna see you again in 5 soon. And so I think Code Veronica, I think you see him in Code Veronica as well. And so and that's Umbrella Chronicles. That's pretty much it. That's the whole Umbrella Chronicles right there. Again, nothing too new. We're just recapping the stories with some side versions of Wesker. And I mean, it was entertaining to watch. I would definitely not play it. I would definitely not want to play this game. I just watched like a 4-hour long video of just the whole gameplay, and I was just like, all right, cool. I had to break it down because I'm like, I'm not watching this 4-hour thing in one sitting. I'm going to watch it in a couple of days. And
both those games we're talking about today are like around 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours of gameplay if you go through it. So I mean, it was cool seeing everything back, like how we were talking about it. So it was cool to see the recap of everything. Definitely cool to see Resident Evil 0 again, because like, all right, cool. My last goodbye before we don't, see it ever again.
Say goodbye to Billy.
Goodbye, say goodbye to Billy and Rebecca. Unless you play Mercenaries, then you could be, Mercenaries 3, you could be Rebecca. But yeah, so one last shot. You have like this cool laser scene too in the facility with I forgot, with Jill and Chris, which reminds me of the laser scene from Resident Evil the movie.
I think it's like, straight out of the movie.
It's like straight out of the movie, and they're just like diving, and you have to like dodge it. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I guess they brought that back. I guess everyone really loved that scene in the movie, so they're gonna bring it into the game. So, sure, why not? Why not? And so we have Umbrella Chronicles. So that was it for Umbrella Chronicles. Again, like Travis said, it's off the rail shooter, kind of nothing too deep. There's no puzzles at all. It's just straight shooting. And so we moved from there. So that's Umbrella Chronicles. Let's go ahead and move on as we're wrapping up this episode to Operation Raccoon City. Definitely a bit more of an action game for sure, this one. Travis, you want to give us the lowdown here, breakdown of the Operation Raccoon City? Give us our briefing for that one.
Yeah, so Operation Raccoon City is one of the more controversial games in RE history.
It is.
And because it's less of the anime action-adventure type game that we're used to and more of a Western-style military shooter. And there's a reason for that. They largely outsourced this game to a Vancouver-based developer called Slant 6 Games.
Okay.
And so most of this game is developed in Vancouver, and Capcom from Japan is largely just providing the lore, kind of character basis, story beats, that type of stuff.
Right.
And Slant Six Games has a reputation already by developing the SOCOM franchise, which is an action shooter.
Oh, yep,
So
yep.
you can see the DNA there, and you can see the DNA of the time because this is starting development kind of late 2000s. And by 2010, military shooters are kind of dominating the market. You've got
Gotcha.
like Halo 3 is out there at the time, about
Yeah.
to release Halo 4. Gears of War is like the biggest thing out there right now
Yeah.
for Xbox. And so you see the cover shooting, you see that kind of tactical type movement. And you can see that DNA there. They want to capitalize on the popularity of Call of Duty, Gears of War, Halo, Left 4 Dead. All that stuff is in there. And they wanted to try and take a big swing with this one and allow players to play as the bad guy. You are playing
Mm.
as the Umbrella Security Service,
Yeah.
USS.
Mhm.
And then you have the US Special Forces that are in there.
Yep.
And then you've got the zombies, okay? And
Yeah.
so it was meant to be this kind of competitive shooter like PvPvE,
Yeah.
where it's like the Special Forces versus Umbrella Security Service versus the non-playable zombies that are kind of interfering with operations on both sides.
Yep.
This one is also kind of cool because it tells you kind of alternate timelines. It's a little bit of what if.
Yep.
And they have characters that you know and love, but they can also die. So like
Yeah.
Leon shows up, he could die. Claire
Yep.
could die.
Yep.
Umbrella could succeed in the end. And
Mhm.
you could alter the canon events of the games that we've seen thus far.
Yep.
So kind of a big swing. You have 6 different playable characters,
Yep.
and they all kind of follow the tropes of the online competitive shooters. You've got the medic, the recon sniper, demolitionist that handle explosives, your
Yep.
scientists, and then your assault classes.
Yep.
And so they're kind of pulling from the Left 4 Dead, kind of pulling from Team
Oh,
Fortress
yeah.
2,
Yeah.
and those are popular during the development. This one launches in 2011, I think.
Okay.
And it did okay. Sold 2 million copies worldwide for the budget and the time. That was a pretty good showing sales
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah.
And yeah, they took a swing. That's the storyline of this one. They
Yeah.
took a swing. They tried to give you a different style of play that we had seen from any other Resident Evil. This
Yeah.
kind of over the shoulder shooter that we kind of see now in a lot of the remakes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it did okay. And
Yeah.
it's divisive because
Yeah.
people didn't really like the Western style shooting, but they did like, getting to play as the bad guys. They like seeing
Yeah.
that alternate history type stuff. And
Yeah.
it's cool to like really flesh out the lore of the Resident Evil canon a little bit. And although none of it is canon, it's
Yeah.
cool to see that alternate history, a little bit of what if from the Resident Evil franchise.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos for bit like controversy of this game where some people said that this is the worst one in the whole series, ever to create. Some people like it. I'm on the fence about it. Like, there's moments where it's pretty cool, and there's moments where I'm like, it's frustrating. It's a game that you can't really find right now. Like, you can't. It's like you have to like emulate it. Like, when I first played it, I played it on the PC when it came out for the PC. But I mean, I didn't get past like the first level because I was just like, I don't like this game. I just like stopped playing it. I thought it would be more scary, more frightening, but it was yeah, over the top, kind of Gears of War esque, kind of, yeah, like
Yeah.
Rainbow Six esh kind of games. I was like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
Um,
They wanted it to be like that, their big online competitive shooter,
yeah,
like the Gears of War, like the Halos, and it
yeah,
just never really took off the way that they wanted it to. And
yeah,
so they kind of just left it in the dust after a short amount of time. They shut
yeah.
down the servers pretty early. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a weird time in the RE franchise for Operation Raccoon City.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And you said you had those alternate timelines. I tried emulating this game and it was unbearable to play because I guess the emulator didn't support it. So I went back to just watching the videos. I got to the point where in the game where you like you what was it? You verse like the one of the top, I think you verse Mr. X or you verse two. I don't know. It got to the point where like it got unbearable and I couldn't play it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna skip ahead. I was almost done actually. I was almost done with the umbrella section. I didn't get to the special forces section. So Yeah, I wasn't a big fan, but it was cool seeing kind of like the things, the little lore pieces, which we'll dive into it here. The game does starts off follows with Delta Squad, aka known as the Wolf Pack. You choose a squad of 4. Again, like you said, you can be like a medic, a recon, a sniper, or demolitionist or assault the leader. Each have their own special names. I don't remember the names for them, but you start off pretty much in the events of before Resident Evil 2 takes place, with you meeting Hunk. You're meeting up with Hunk, and you're like, "Hey, we got to go retrieve the G virus from Birkin." And you're like, "All right, cool. We know these names. All right, let's go." So you're going in. You have special forces that are preventing you from going in because they were hired to prevent you from entering the Umbrella facility. Umbrella's like, "We need the G force. You got to get it. Whatever." So you go through there. You meet Whelan Birkin. You see how he transmutates and becoming the G Man. And now you got to verse him. You got to get away from him.
Birkin
And
looks bad. He looks bad in this game.
oh, he
Like,
does.
It's he's got like a bad bowl cut first off.
Yeah,
And then,
he does. He does. Yeah.
I don't know. Just like the graphics and the design of Birkin are really weird to me, and that's
Yeah.
kind of where I was like, all right, that's probably enough of this game. Like,
Yeah.
that's like level 1. You get deep in the facility, you kind of off screen, you hear Birkin fighting with Hunk, and then he comes bursting out, and it's kind of like you're retreating backwards through this like steam and fire that's like shooting across the hallways.
Yep.
You're taking cover where appropriate. The AI is like quite bad in this game, like notoriously bad.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Like the zombies are really dumb, and I don't know. It's not. This one's not for me. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I'm 100% with you. I'm like, this is not. Give me back the horror. Give me back the survival. Give me back the tank controls. I don't care. Give me back all that stuff. Like, I don't. This one was not a good game to play. I mean, I just did it just for the lore, for the story. Again, we verse Birkin. You only verse him once, and then that's it. And then you move up back to Resident Evil. Now I feel like you're in Resident Evil 3-ish kind of area because you're going through the city. It doesn't even have like there's a storyline, but like they're like missions. So like you finish the mission, you go back to the main screen, you got to do the next mission, and you go. So it's like doesn't like not a whole like big one whole thing. It's like mission spaced. You get ranks, you get points, you can level up your guns, you can buy weapons and stuff. And I was just like, all right, they're getting way too Call of Duty-esque.
It's kind of like the Counter-Strike version of Resident Evil. It's kind of strange.
It is. I was just like, I wasn't digging it. I'm like, I don't like this. And so we go through these missions. You go through the hospital. You go through some universities. I mean, Umbrella's telling you, hey, you gotta destroy this evidence. Destroy this. We have Nikolai. We meet Nikolai, and he's like he's like this antagonist. Like he's causing all these blocks with us and trying to be like, I have my orders and stuff. So we meet Nikolai again from Resident Evil 3. Makes an appearance again. And so you see him, and you're just like, all right, Nikolai's being annoying. You have to verse him a couple times. There's like a mission where like he's sniping you from like this like building, so you have to like take cover. But there's zombies there too. The zombies are very Left 4 Dead-esque. I can tell because it's like, oh, if you make noise, it's gonna attract a bunch of them. I'm like, all right, we've seen this before. Like this is nothing new. And I was just like, okay, I guess. Whatever, the mechanics are interesting. What pissed me off was the lickers and like the hunters because they take like so much ammo to kill. They're like, you should like, it was just even on easy, like they were just like taking forever. They took like 2 clips for me to kill. I'm like, this is lame. This is stupid. You see, like my teammates are down, so I had to go heal them up. Yeah, it was meant to. I can see how it was meant to like emphasis on like online play with the squad, play with multiple people. Because I'm like, yeah, I would rather play with multiple people because this AI was atrocious. Like they would just stand there to get shot. Like it was ridiculous. So,
and the cover mechanic was just not really fleshed out the way it needed to be. Like
not. No,
you play something like Gears of War and you take cover, you know that you're largely protected.
Yeah,
and Gears of War kind of got into the like destroyable covers.
Yeah,
as the series went on, and this doesn't take advantage of any of that. And the covers that you're taking are not great, and you're still vulnerable, even though you're behind cover. The shooting from behind cover doesn't feel great. Yep. Like it's got to be really snappy, like in Gears of War, and they just never got there. Like, yes, you can take cover, yes, you can shoot behind cover, but it doesn't work the same way that you expect it to work, which is really frustrating. I think it turned a lot of people off.
Oh, for sure, I agree, 100%. And I didn't like. Yeah, it was hard. Like I would take cover, and I'm still getting hit. I'm like, what? Why? How's this possible? Like, it was ridiculous. It was cool to see. We see Mr. X again. We see Mr. X is there.
Always.
He's always there. He's always there, and he's chasing after you. You can't kill him. You just got to run away from him again. So he's there. We see Claire and Leon from Resident Evil 2. We see Sherry, uh, and we have like this moment where we're like, we got to get the girl. Umbrella's like, we got to get that girl. That girl's vital, whatever. And you're like, okay, cool. And so we follow these missions through Wolfpack, and then we find out that like Umbrella like backstabs him and it's like leaves him in the dark, and you're like, oh, you get mad at Umbrella, but they're like, okay, just kidding. Do this one mission and then we can leave. And you're like, okay, so you do this last mission. Um, I like this cool mission where you verse the Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, where he's like, oh, the Nemesis is malfunctioning. You got to go and reestablish him to go after stars again. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Little like, you could maybe make that canon ish, where it's like when Jill's off doing her thing and you don't see Nemesis anymore, it's because body got malfunctioned. So then you have Wolfpack that reprograms him, and then he goes back and chases after Jill. So I was like, all right, that's pretty cool little lore that you can do. But you verse Mr. X a couple times. You verse like multiple of them. There's like multiple different types of them. And so you verse them a bunch of times. They get annoying because they're just like everywhere. We see Ada Wong, which is pretty cool. I was like, oh, my girl, Ada Wong, she's back. So we see a bunch of characters again, but was it enough to save this game? I don't think it was. It was just like cool little fluff, little like cameo characters that you're like, oh, sick, this is so cool.
Yeah.
The ending of the Wolfpack is a decision-based mechanic you have to choose, because you're after Leon, and Umbrella's like, you got to kill that cop because he knows too much, and you got to get rid of Claire and bring back Sherry. And so there's a decision you have to choose, whether you either defend Leon or you kill Leon. Whatever choice you make, you have to verse your own squad, because like two of them decide to defend and two of them decide to go against. So then you have this whole standoff where you got to verse each other. And then
I do like that. That's kind of cool.
I thought it was cool, but like I've seen it before, and I don't know if you know this, but how familiar are you with the Splinter Cell games? Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell games?
I'm pretty familiar.
So there's one Splinter Cell. I think it's which one was it? Was it Double Agent? No, it was Conviction. A Splinter Cell Conviction.
Yeah.
And there's a mode where you can play co-op mode with your two different Splinter Cells. One's from Russia and one's from the U.S. And you do missions together, right? You have to do missions, and at the end, you get orders to be like, hey, your final order is to eliminate the other player. So if you're playing cooperative, at the end you have to verse each other. And I was like, oh snap, what a twist! That was so crazy. So that was cool. And then when I saw it in Raccoon City, I was like, all right, I've seen this before already. Tom Clancy did it better, which I liked it. But it was cool to see again. But I was like, all right, cool. We're versing, A team versus B team. This team wants to kill Leon. This team's willing to defend Leon because they're sick and tired of Umbrella backstabbing them. Whatever. If you decide to kill Leon, okay, we're just killing we're killing Resident Evil 4 and 5 and 6, and those don't exist anymore. We just retconned the whole Resident Evil series. And so you kill Leon in this. If you choose this one, you kill Leon. Claire and Sherry are like, no, and then they're like, we just need the girl. We don't need Claire. So then they kill Claire. So there goes Code Veronica. So they're bye. And then they take Sherry and they extract, and Umbrella gets away with it. They have the virus and they get away with it. If you defend Leon, it's again you send them off their way, and they're like, Doug, why'd you defend us? You can get trouble. We're like, all right, well, we already don't care about Umbrella anyway. So whatever. They backstabbed us for the last time, so we're gonna handle it. We're gonna get them payback, and then it ends. And you're like, all right, whatever. So you have that, but then I thought that was the end. Again, I never played. I didn't get past this game. So when I was watching the game, I'm like, all right, cool, we ended it. But then I was looking at the timestamp. I'm like, why do we have two more hours? Like, did they play another version or something? And then it turns out that you could be the special ops now. You're special ops. So the special ops going in to save survivors and do all these other missions. Again, same formula as the Wolfpack, but now you're special ops. We see Jill. We see Jill from Resident Evil 3. You help her out with the Nemesis. You do all these missions with her. You meet Carlos again from Resident Evil 3. It's kind of mixed in with like same events of like how Wolfpack is doing their thing, special ops are doing their own thing. You meet Claire in the sewers, so you're meeting all these characters that you met in as Wolfpack. The sewer mission, while I was watching it, I'm like, I'd be so annoyed with this mission because you have to like guide Sherry into like shoot the lights, or like you turn on the lights so she can keep going, but then the zombies coming out there, so you have to like protect her. I was like, if I was playing this mission, I'd be so annoyed because I'm like, first of all, I was annoyed with Resident Evil 2 Sherry stuff. Now I have to deal with this. I was like, Sherry can't get a break. She can't.
Escort missions are like just infamous in any video game. The second you have to do an escort mission, we'll lose half the audience.
Yep. I was already lost there. I was like, oh, man, I just, yeah, it was lame. But yeah, you play a special ops, and you again do the missions, and then you come to the end, which the ending is escaping me again. I really didn't really care for the ending because I was just like, this game mainly focus. Like, first of all, my question is, why do you have a special ops section when like the game like is emphasizing like the umbrella special ops forces? So like, as soon as you go away from that and you go to the special ops, I'm like, okay, well, I lost interest because like I thought this game was all about the wolf pack and see how they like, umbrella and the special services. Now we're dealing with special ops.
And they play
Okay,
the same. Like if they had a twist in mechanics, that might be one thing.
right,
They
yeah,
play the exact same as Wolfpack, so you're telling the same story from the other side
yeah,
with little character development and
hmm,
just a bunch of like no name dudes. Like
yeah,
this kind of feels like a Suicide Squad type. Like these guys are
yes,
going in and they're burners for Umbrella, which I like the concept of.
yeah.
But then you go to the special ops side and you're like, who are any of these dudes? I just spent 2.5 hours with the Wolf Pack and now I'm playing as these
These other
kind of no
people.
name special agents that play the exact same as the dudes I was just playing with.
Yep. So it's another 2 hours of that. I think that ends with you fighting the wolf pack because they're trying to kill Leon. So you got to like defend Leon, stuff like that. And I was like, all right, sure, whatever. And that ends pretty much with Operation Raccoon City. Again, uh, not my favorite of the whole series, and a lot. I mean, it's cool concept. I see where they were going for, but I think they were too late into the game for that. And also, like, you've developed such a repertoire of being like this horror survivor game to like dive your feet into this. It was like, oh, okay, I guess it's like Halo, like
Yeah.
trying to jump into like the RPG game where it's like you can level
Yeah.
up Master Chief. And I was like, okay, that's not that wouldn't fit because like this is an FPS, this is a shooter, this is like you go guns in blazing as Master Chief. Now you're saying like I can level up his like strength and level up his like that'd be lame. Same thing with Capcom trying to dive their feet into like this whole Left 4 Dead, Gears of War kind of genre, trying to I can see why, because like yeah, Gears of War was hot at the time. I loved Gears of War, phenomenal game, and it's the reason why it popped off, and it's a great game. But you can't copycat it. There's only one Gears of War. You can't just kind of dive
Yeah.
dive into that pool, especially if you're coming from a different genre. So, not my favorite game in the series at all. I would honestly prefer Umbrella Chronicles over this game because at
Oh
least
yeah.
Umbrella Chronicles has like a cool story that you can follow along. This is kind of like a side, like all right, a what if, like you said, this is a what if, cool what if, but whatever. We're toss this to the side. One of my favorites. It was cool to watch, not fun to play, but it was cool seeing the revisiting back Raccoon City in a different kind of manner, which was fun. I mean, we see the
It's good
dead
to see
factory.
Hunk again.
Good to see Hunk. That's why I think that was like the bright spot of this game. I'm like, I saw Hunk. Hunk was great. The Reaper is back, and it was cool to see him. But after that, I was just like, all right, I don't care for these other four. Whatever. I
Yeah.
guess we can follow along. So, but that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much Operation Raccoon City, Umbrella Chronicles.
Do you want to
Nothing.
wrap with a question?
Let's wrap. Let's do the questions here. I mean, I don't
So
know. Yeah,
I'm
but
going to
yeah,
ask a little bit
yeah.
of impromptu thinking on your feet.
Oh, okay, let's do it.
Uh, Capcom took some divergence and took some swings with
Okay.
these two games that we just talked about. I'm
All
going to
right.
ask you to take a little divergent path with me. If you were to
Oh.
redesign Operation Raccoon City from
Oh.
the ground up and make it your own thing, like
Okay.
what does that look like to you? And you go, I'll give you a second to think about it. I'm going to tell you mine
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
because you mentioned Halo. And when you invoke Halo, I'm going to jump in. And
Okay.
I think that
Yeah.
this game would have been great as a kind of like Halo Reach style campaign where
Okay.
you get to play as each of the operators and they play differently. Maybe you're not running through as a squad. Obviously,
Hmm.
this game is designed for online play. You need like large squads to go against one another.
Yeah.
But I think that in a solo campaign, you could have played as each of the operatives by themselves, doing different aspects of the missions. And I freaking love Halo Reach. What an unsung game in
Ah,
a great franchise. And it's
peak
had its
game, man.
highs and lows, just like Resident Evil. But I
Hmm.
think that if you really highlight each of these characters, give them connections between the other teammates, give them their own special flair where they play differently, they have different skills,
Yeah.
and then at the end, you can almost do kind of the Reach thing where they go in, they are like the Suicide Squad, and then it's like you
Yeah.
pick your hero, they're all back to back to back, and they go like you have to
Yes.
survive. You're failing, the zombies are coming in, survive as long as you can, and it just like
Yeah.
gives you those waves
Yeah.
until you collapse. I freaking love that.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, dude, I want that. I want that. Forget my idea. I want that. That was awesome. Yes. Oh man. What I would do now that you mentioned it, I'm gonna jump in with your little Halo train here. But Halo 1, the flood mission, where like it freaked me out so much playing that.
Oh yeah.
So give me that sense of Operation Raccoon City. Throw away. You can have your squad, but like you're not all of them. You're Hunk. You're leading the squad because like you're going through the missions as Hunk. Untold story of him going through Raccoon City trying to survive. Um, Make it first person. I like it for FPS. That way you can kind of see how Biohazard 7 kind of got the idea of like, oh, let's do that first, but make it scary. Kind of, I'm thinking like Fear, the video game, which I loved. I love Fear 1.
Those are
For
cool.
now, those one freaked me out. But make it kind of like Fear-esque, where you have the zombies, but you have like Birkin. You're dealing with all these lore. Take away the whole "we can kill Leon" kind of deal, whatever, and make it just all about Raccoon City, and just you as Hunk just trying to survive, and how you have your squad kind of Halo Reaches, where each of your squad members are getting picked off one by one, and how you see Hunk as the sole survivor, how he makes it out by the cost of his whole squad. You can make it a little emotional because it's like his squad members that he went through with. He went through hell and back, and he did all this, and now like he's the sole survivor, and now maybe he wants revenge on Umbrella because they send him out here to die and stuff, and so it's like you can get emotional with it. That's how we'll make Operation Raccoon City, that version. Get rid of special ops. Who cares about special ops? Maybe you can make like a mercenaries kind of style with them. I don't really care, but I would make it the main storyline is Hunk and his crew and how they went in to get the virus, the G virus, and like what it cost them to get it, and like what they had to do to get out of out of Raccoon City. You have this impending doom, and then we see the ending of 3, how it blows up and Hunk escapes, somehow, and that's how Hunk survived, and so that's what I would change off the fly.
Love it.
Umbrella Chronicles, I wouldn't change it. Just keep it as is. It is what it is.
It's cool for what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that question. That was a good question. That got me on the fly.
We didn't really hit on this a whole lot, but
Yeah.
What cool character designs for the Umbrella Secret Service, Special Service. Like Hunk is already a known quantity. We saw him in some of the previous games. He's got a cool design. He's got like the glowing red eyes, this gas mask looking thing.
Yeah.
But some of these other characters have really cool designs. You can see him like, back behind us right now. They get the dude with like the glowing blue eyes. You got the girl with the glowing blue gas mask. Like these characters have some serious aura to them. They are
for
aura
sure
maxing, as the kids would say.
Yeah, right.
And
I
wish
like
that they would do. I wish that they would do more like this. If you're gonna have a special team like this, make them cool, but also make them play differently. Make them, I don't know. I do like the character designs. They're
I do
something that we have not seen yet, and we're not just like cops running around a mansion again. We are a special SWAT team.
Yeah. The best of the best.
It does feel kind of like a Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I like it. I do it. Yeah, I like the design. I think the one, like the guy for those that are watching, listening, we're looking at a photo of the squad from Operation Raccoon City. There's one on the very like left of us, I guess, that has like the night vision goggles. I'm like, he's looking a little too Splinter Cell-ish for me. So I'm
yes,
like,
he is.
but I like the one below him, like a ghost, like where he's like has like the gas mask, but he's got like the blue eyes, the hood over. I like him. He's like very Assassin's Creed-esque looking.
Yeah.
He's really cool. I will say though, like, a cool mechanic that they had is that each one of them has its own special takedown when you like take down. And so I like that guy, the guy with the hood, because he does this little cool like he like grabs a grenade and stuffs it in like the zombie and like kicks him out, and then they like, blow up. I thought that was a really cool mechanic. So they had their own little cool gimmicks, I would say, but again, I'm not revisiting this one. Like I'm glad we did this, and let's put this one behind us because I like that.
Put it to bed.
For those that stuck around and listen, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in here. This has been a collab with Operation Game Night Podcast and Games y Mas. Please, again, I'm going to plug them in all the time because I love these guys. These guys are like one of my closest friends in the board gaming industry and the podcast industry. I love them. Operation Game Night Podcast. They're so awesome. They're great, phenomenal guys. I love listening to your guys' podcast episodes. They're great. Please give them a follow. Again, I leave links below on all for all their socials, all wherever you can find them on YouTube, X, Spotify, YouTube. wherever you like to listen and watch podcasts. You can get them there. Short and sweet episodes, 20 to 30 minutes, quick, simple. They get you in and out, and then that's it. And I love it. I love their content. I wish it was longer, but that's what works for them. I just love listening to these guys anyway. So I'll talk to them like for days for board games and video games all the time.
Much love.
Yes, yeah, they're great. So please give them a follow, guys. I'm gonna beat on this all the time in every single episode that we do collabs with them. Please give them a follow. They're awesome. And when you're done following them, you can come to our side of the corner here and you can give us a follow on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you like to watch or listen podcasts. You can find us at Games You Must Pod. That is at Games You Must Pod, or send us an email at gamesyoumustpod@gmail.com. That is gamesyoumustpod@gmail.com. I'm loving these Resident Evil talks, guys. I'm engaging with you guys. I love engaging with you guys. So if you like this, stay tuned for some more, or go check out our other ones that we've done. We've done 3, we've done 2, we've done 1, and we've done 0 of the Resident Evil franchise. So up next, we're going to be talking about Outbreak Files 1 and 2. We might split it into 2 episodes, or we might do just 1 full episode, depending on how long it takes us. So I'm excited to talk about that one because that one's mine. That's my bread. Like number 4, number 2 is your bread and butter, Travis. Like Outbreak is like my bread and butter. Like I love Outbreak so much, and I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about it and actually have some hot takes on it too. So we'll talk about that. So with that being said, though, Travis, get us out of here, and we'll see you guys for the next one.
For the Games You Must podcast and Operation Game Night podcast, I have been Travis. He has been the one and only Vic. This has been our Resident Evil revisit, doing Operation Raccoon City and Umbrella Chronicles. We are out.
Nos vemos a la próxima.